Well, well.
Welcome to Dad Crossing, a podcast about animals and parenting. Today we'll be chatting about the fishing tournament, some other stuff, and some new things on the horizon for our little podcast. Did you see what I did there, Nick?
I did. I
Horizon.
liked it.
Yeah. Dad Crossing is proudly part of the Nintendo Dads family of podcasts. Today we're joined by me and Nick.
Where's Sean?
Sean is out this week, but he sends his love all the way from the UK. All the way.
We love you, Sean.
We love you, Sean. We miss you. Come back to us. Okay? Don't make this a regular thing. I know you have to wake up at like 3 a.m. to do this, but we can't do it without you. We're barely hanging on as it is.
Seriously.
So please come back. That's a very short intro. Usually it lasts longer than that, but we're done with the intro now. So how are you doing, Nick?
Hey, I'm just glad that you remember. See, when there's only two of us, you remember to throw it to me as to see how I'm doing as well. I really appreciate that.
Yeah, just barely.
Just right now. I'm doing good. Just going to work, doing life, doing normal stuff, hanging out with the fam, trying to find summer activities when everything's closed down. That's kind of my life right here.
Yes. We're opening back up, for better, for worse. It seems like it's for worse, but I guess we'll see. Yeah, I mean, we're kind of the same, sort of. Like, we're still trying to be really careful. Like, we're not going to playgrounds with our kids, which is a super bummer. But we'll go to like a big open field and let them run around, and they're fine. We have a playground in our backyard, which I need to paint, so I put that on my to-do list. I am still jobless, but I'm getting some contract work starting to come in. I have a friend who is also a video contractor, and he's like, dude, you should office with me in my studio, and we'll like, I'll get you some work and da-da-da. So it seems like things are starting to like roll in the direction of work for myself, which I feel like I should have been doing this the whole time, because whatever. But yeah, you've been playing anything besides Animal Crossing, Nick?
So I've been playing Clubhouse games, trying to keep up my score and, support the team, because I'm certainly not the one that's going to win this. However much money it is.
Which team are you on?
I'm on your team. I'm on John's team.
Oh, good. Go John's Pawns. Go
That's
team.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
We definitely won.
I have not been contributing very much, but I did every activity except Tim and I did not do our chess match.
Mm-hmm.
And I take full responsibility for that. He tried to get with me many times, and I just was sort of indisposed, just sort of decided that I didn't want to play chess.
No chess for you.
So yeah, that was
Dan's
my
sitting
fault.
there like doing whatever you do on Borderlands. Like, I'm sorry, I'm real busy now.
That's literally what it was like. It was like, hey, do you want to play chess tonight? And I was sitting here like in the middle of a game of Borderlands, like, I just don't. I really, really would rather not do that, And I mean, people's lives are all kind of jacked up right now. And mine has felt sort of jacked up in particular, just with the job loss and new baby, 3 kids at home, just trying to get my wife to finish school and everything. And so I kind of need that sort of like release,
Yeah.
And it's the kind of release that Animal Crossing and Clubhouse games just don't give me. Sometimes you just got to blow some stuff up.
Yeah. No.
So
totally
Borderlands is scratching that itch right now. So everyone is just going to have to give me some grace with that.
You got it. You got grace.
But that being said, I'm having a blast playing Borderlands. I started Borderlands 2. I beat the first one. I played as Brick for a while, which is supposed to be the tank. And it just takes too long to get good with Brick. So I gave up on Borderlands 1 after beating it with the soldier class. And I'm now playing through Borderlands 2 with one of the newer classes, which is the Necromancer. And what she does is she drops like a robot that runs around the battlefield and just messes guys up. And so you can upgrade her and get all kinds of cool gear for her. And so I love Borderlands. I love it. I don't care that the humor is weird, dumb, gross out humor. It's up my alley, and I'm enjoying it thoroughly. I was playing right before we started, and I will probably go back to playing it after I edit the podcast tonight.
So are you playing by yourself then? Because it's a pretty, like, you can play with other people, right? I personally, I know it's going to shock you, I've never played board games. So I know. Don't sign off of Zoom, please.
Bye.
Yeah. So I've never played. So, but isn't it one where is it an optional play together, play by yourself thing?
Yeah, it's total drop in, drop out co-op online. Have you played Diablo at all?
A little. Yeah, I played it a little bit. Yeah.
It's more like Diablo than it is like Halo or Call of Duty. It's just that instead of top-down view RPG, it's a first-person shooter, thousands and thousands of guns that all have different attributes. Each, you pick one of 6 classes. It's very Diablo, just
nice
first-person shooter. So it's easy to get sucked in and just kind of get into the skill tree and do whatever you want. And that is where I'm going to end that conversation because I lost my train of thought. Because Nick, and the reason I lost my train of thought is because the podcast itself is getting a bit of a derailment.
Oh, see, I was going to say the reason you lost your train of thought is because you're a dad, and so you just kind of
I was going with the train theme with the derailing, but now I'm getting really derailed. So we are going to be making a bit of a tiny little change to Dad Crossing, as it were. We're still going to be doing Animal Crossing news and updates and playthrough and all that good stuff that you're used to. We are just adding an element to it, which is going to be heavy on the parenting side of things. This is something that the three of us are passionate about, being dads, and we all three kind of cover the spectrum of parenthood. I have a 6-month-old, a 3-year-old, and a 5-year-old. Sean, I believe, has a 14-year-old and a 4-year-old or something like that, right?
Yeah, he's got kids. And I got a 4.
I know he has a teenager. He's got a teenager and something else.
That's right.
Yeah.
And I have a 4 and 6-year-old as well. So, and I mean, you can hear it in our podcast all the time. I mean, we talk about our kids and about playing video games, and I'm always Animal Crossing means so much to me because I got to introduce it to my son, and my daughter has no idea what she's doing when she picks up the controller, but she likes to run around and play it so that my son can get mad at her because she, does something to screw up his island. And so we, parenting and being a dad is, not to get too deep, but maybe only God is before that, in my life. And so even, I was going to shock you, Dan, 600-hour Nick, even before Animal Crossing. So
no,
I know.
Not on this podcast.
And so, so it means a lot to me, and to be able to share stories, maybe help others, have others help us. I'm really, really excited for what this will bring for the podcast.
Yeah, definitely. Me too. And it's kind of like, for me, it's a little bit about like bringing balance back into my life is what being a dad means to me, because, my wife is going into counseling. She's getting her master's in counseling. And one of the things that we always talk about is how like nobody gets out of their childhood unscathed, right? Like everybody kind of grows up with some kind of angst or some kind of anger towards their parents for something, or nobody grew up perfect. And so I kind of don't want my kids to fall into the same pitfalls that I do. So it's causing me to change things about myself and to be better. And they're like a major motivation for that. And so this is just kind of a way to be like, we're going to talk about like ways to balance gaming and kids, how to raise your kids right on gaming, stuff like that. And I want to read Sean's message. Sean wished so hard that he could be here tonight to announce the change. So he left us this little message, and I'm going to read it to you in my best British accent right now. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not gonna. I
was
wouldn't
gonna
do
say,
that.
oh, this is gonna be horrible, but I was willing to follow the train. Go for it.
Okay. Hey, everyone, and apologies for missing out on this week's episode. I'll be back as normal for the next week. I just have some dad stuff to attend to. Speaking of dad stuff, we're looking to steer this ship of awesomeness in the direction of sharing dadding experiences. We will still be covering Animal Crossing in all its gloriousness, but we will also be sharing how we game with and around little ones in our lives, as well as how we found parenthood so far. We will also touch on new games we've been playing or what we've pulled out of the back catalog. Thanks as always again, and accept my apologies for not being on the show this week. Love, Sean. We love you, Sean.
Certainly do.
We wish you were here. And with that being said, let's jump into our first parenting question. We got 2 questions to this week, specifically to parenting, and both of them are actually Animal Crossing related. So we're going to start with, hey, it's Chad. He has a question. Hey, it's Chad. He says, so show question, how do you play Animal Crossing with your kids? My oldest daughter and I visit each other's islands frequently. I have split custody, and it's a great way to spend time with her when she's not at my house. So how do you play Animal Crossing with your kids? By the way, Chad, that is such a cool way to connect with your kids. Having that kind of family setup, being split, it's, gaming online just sort of gives you this connection when you're away from each other, which is just, I think, is one of the coolest things about gaming as a parent. So how do you play Animal Crossing with your kids, Nick?
So for us, Noah has his own Switch, and his own copy of Animal Crossing. So he has his own town, and I have my own town. I will say this was really how he stayed in contact with my mom. His grandmother was in this same way during quarantine, because we were keeping families apart and all that jazz. So we would spend an hour to 3 times a week over, because voice chat's so great, I would just call her and put it on speakerphone, and we would just spend time at an island and just chat and fish and do whatever. And it was really like her way to connect to Noah and keep in contact, because they hang out a couple times a week normally, when not in quarantine. So that's how we do it. A lot of times, like in the morning or at night, he'll come over. I'll be like, hey, do you want to jump on? There's something cool happening, because he doesn't keep up with everything that's happening and all that jazz. But I was like, there's a fishing tourney. We had a graduation party to go to, so I was like, you're gonna wake up in the morning, get breakfast, and you're gonna be like right at 9, because I knew we'd only have like 2 hours before we had to be out into this party. And that was probably gonna be all we could play on Saturday. And so it's really about just him. Just connecting with him, and either me going to his island or him going to mine, and showing him this game that means so much to me, and just watching him kind of fall in love with it too that's how we play Animal Crossing.
Yeah, that's really cool. That's kind of similar to what Chad was saying about just kind of connecting with family that you can't see. My kids love to watch me play Animal Crossing. I just don't want my 5-year-old's grubby hands on my controllers quite yet. I just kind of want him to be able to feel the responsibility that I'm placing in his hands. So and that'll be kind of a theme about when I talk about parenting. It's like, I don't do a ton of gaming with my kids. Like every once in a while we'll jump onto something, but not all the time. They love watching me play though. Like their favorite thing is to help me get dressed in Animal Crossing. So I'll go into the closet and I'll be, okay, pick a hat, pick a shirt, pick shoes. And it always just looks like it looks like just like I like fell into a thrift store and just like fell out, and this is what I'm wearing now. And it's always all over the place. But so that's kind of how we play, like, and he'll be like, go fishing, let's catch a shark. And before this I think it was the first summer day of summer when sharks were available, I was like, but we can't catch sharks yet, I'm sorry. He's like, no, I saw one. And I'm like, you don't know what you're talking about. Like, you didn't see a shark. I'm sorry. Like, I don't want to shatter your dreams here. But now he's all about the sharks. We caught a couple sharks off the coast, and he was really hyped about that. So so they're more in like a passenger seat role right now as far as Animal Crossing goes. And that's pretty much how we play most games, just because of how their age and because of my fear of having my stuff broken and drooled on.
I will say this though, for me with Animal Crossing during quarantine, it was a great driver to get Noah to get his schoolwork done.
Hey, there you go.
Like, he had his island. He wanted on that Switch like first thing in the morning, and he knew he wasn't going to get it until he finished all of the pages he had to get done. Mm-hmm. And I mean, I would wake up.
That's some good dadding right there.
Yeah, I'd wake up at 8:00, and my son would be out there like having finished as much as he could without help on his paperwork, because he knew, like, he was like, when I get this done, Dad will let me play Animal Crossing.
That's good. That's
yeah,
good
that
stuff.
was very helpful.
Yeah, that's awesome. We have one more question tonight from Tim Off. Our very own Nintendo dad, Tim Off, asks us, what games have you made up to play with your kids and family in Animal Crossing? Sam, his son Sam, Sam likes to play hide and seek on his island. I haven't done a round of hide and seek, but I hear it can be very frustrating. So, y'all played hide and seek?
Oh yeah, Noah loves hide and seek. I had to make the rule: you cannot go in the museum, because you are lost forever when you go in the museum, and there's nothing more frustrating than trying to find him in that gigantic. Which, I mean, I know there's not that many rooms, but it never fails. It's like the last room, and he moves too. He says he doesn't, but I know he does. He's like he can hear I'm usually on the TV and he's on the Switch Lite. And so, and even if he's in another room, he can hear my footsteps and the change, and he moves with it. And so I'm like, listen, this isn't working. You cannot go in the museum, because this. I bet
it would be really fun with like 8 people, right? Yeah. 8 people on one island. And when you're found, you like join the search party. So that doesn't last for a million years and you always have something to do. Yeah. I would be down for that. We should should do a Dad Crossing, hide and seek tournament
for sure. Yeah,
plan that, Nick.
I'll get right on it.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys for your questions. This is going to conclude the.
Oh wait! No! Not just hide and seek. There are other cool games to play, Dan.
Oh, tell me about the other cool games.
Well,
before I prematurely move on.
Seriously, you got to get the timer. Okay, like most importantly.
Okay.
And my son loves to play with the timer to do the bug games and catching fish, and who can catch the most bugs and who can catch the most fish. We also use the color wheel, which this works best if you are in the same house, because the color wheel can actually be on different colors or different numbers on each person's Switch if you're doing it online. Yeah, you didn't know that? That
seems like a bad idea.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah, I don't know why or how it was created that way, but that is what it is. And so we'll throw like 1,000 bells down. I'm teaching my kid to gamble. It's what I'm telling you, Dan. So we'll throw 1,000 bells down.
That's good dadding right there.
Yeah. And be like, okay, what color did it land on? I'll also every once in a while just bury like 50,000 bells and be like, hey, go find it. Like, if you can find it, you can have it. There's also have you ever seen the sticky rice on your face? It's the most kind of gross and ridiculous thing
in Animal Crossing.
In Animal Crossing, yeah, it's like a face accoutrement. I don't know.
No.
Yeah, so it's like one piece of rice on your face.
Oh my!
We all think it's gross between me, my mom, and Noah, and we continually like take it to another person's island. To one of our islands, and we just like bury it there.
Yeah.
And I'll find it, like Noah will have come to my island and just buried it in a random place without telling me. And I'm like, oh, now I have the sticky rice. So then it's like a game of old mate.
I love that.
And so then I got to go to somebody's island and go to one of their islands and go bury it. And then they find it. And so we've been passing this thing around for a while.
Amazing. I love that. Well, let's continue the Animal Crossing chat. We're going to jump into Isabel's morning announcements, talk about some topics and some newsies. So the first thing we're going to do is, Nick, I'm going to make you talk some more because
I love it.
Fishing tournament round 2 shouldn't take too long to talk about because as far as I've heard, it is exactly the same.
Yeah, it's a real bummer. This the fishing tourney is fun, right? So I feel like I crap on these all the time. We're like the bug off. I was like, let me tell you everything that was bad about it. It is fun to have this thing on a Saturday, and Noah does love when it happens, and so it's like a fun break in the monotony of what Animal Crossing is. But like, give me different items. The game mechanic is exactly the same. 3 minutes, catch as many fish as you can. You get points for the fish you catch, and then you can use those to buy items. The items are exactly the same as the fall fishing tourney. Like, can we have different items for each season? It just makes sense. Makes sense. But like I said, there are issues with it. Too much dialogue. Items the same. Mechanics the same. But it is nice to have like that Saturday break in the monotony of Animal Crossing. Be like, hey, there's this fishing tourney. Let's do this. So.
Yeah, I get that. It's cool that it is more effective with friends.
Yeah, that's great.
That was a nice touch. Too bad that it is exactly the same.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. So next on our Isabel's morning announcements, we have Nintendo removed the no HUD glitch, and people are upset about this. Have you been using this glitch at all, Nick?
No, yeah. I have absolutely no idea what this glitch is.
So I'm gonna look up how to do it real quick. Let's see. Yeah, I can't.
So when you go on the site, so like you don't have any. Like, there's nothing on it's a clean screen, I guess is the way to say it.
Right. There's absolutely no HUD. And people have made some amazing videos, like edited their own videos because of it, because there's no,
Yeah, I got you.
I can't look up how to do it. But anyway, it seems like Nintendo should give us a way to capture with no HUD. And I don't know why they're adamant about not including that feature.
Yeah, the only way you can capture with no HUD is through the camera, but the only thing you can get through that is a picture. You can't get video.
Right. So lame Nintendo. Next up, Nintendo launched the official Animal Crossing Instagram at Animal Crossing _official. And it has a cool 147,000 followers already and a whopping 1 post.
That's the same thing that happened
as of this recording.
Dad Crossing.
We didn't do anything with it, and people just flocked to us. Like
we were like, wow, 150,000 people. That's crazy.
Like the Pied Piper all of a sudden. It was amazing. So go check that out because they are bound to post some neato stuff on there. Next up, version 1.3.1 of Animal Crossing dropped a few days ago. And basically, it's just some bug fixes that have been annoying people. It addressed the issue where players could not properly use the Zen Bridge. People would get stuck on their bridges. And Nick, you said you have 3 Zen Bridges and never ran into this issue?
No, never did. Wasn't a thing for me.
Interesting. Because it seems like it was fairly prolific, so I don't know. They also addressed the issue where players could not properly, a wetsuit would not be available for sale in Nook's Cranny. That got fixed. An issue where hermit crabs would appear in places other than the beach. I don't know why that's a problem. I love hermit crabs. Also addressed an issue where dialogue bubbles improperly showing up.
I guess I'm just blessed. I didn't have. Well, that's not true. I had the no wetsuit issue in Nook's Cranny. I did have that. But I didn't have the rest of these. And if you want to see a funny video from the OG dad, Justin Masson, I can go onto their YouTube where he excitedly opens up his Animal Crossing to go swimming and finds out that he too has been hit with the no wetsuit in Nook's bug and has no way to go swimming. It's an unfortunate experience for him.
Bad news. Sorry about that, Justin. That's about it for our announcements today. And we're going to move on to the Villagers Bulletin Board. This is where we have community members give us things to talk about.
We appreciate you, community members.
We do. We love you. Thanks for sticking with us through the Nintendo drought, which we are currently in. First, we want to thank all the Patreon members of the Nintendo Dads for hanging out with us on Discord. Y'all are the best community on the internet, and we love you. And if you're listening to this and you'd like to chat with us, plus like a whole bunch of other Animal Crossing fans, you can join us for as little as $1 a month over at patreon.com/NintendoDads, and that gets you access to the Discord. And you can come say hey and tell us how much you love and or hate the podcast. So our first question comes in from John Blanco Zablanc on Discord. He says, "Hey guys, do any of you guys do activities just to try to complete those Nook Miles cards? Is anybody going for 100% completion?" So the Nook Miles cards are on your phone. If you open up the Nook Miles ticket thing, it'll show you like achievements you can do in the game, and it's like, oh.
So sorry. There's a small cat that just apparently appeared. By the way, Dan, I have a cat too, just in case you didn't know.
This is the real Animal Crossing podcast where we talk to real animals, guys. Only the hardest hitting content from us.
That was Bob right there, I believe, that just showed up.
Yeah. Oh, named after the Animal Crossing character. I like it. Animal Crossing cat. So back to John's question. Nick, are you going for 100% completion on the Nook Miles cards?
I mean, I'll probably get it because I play a crud ton. But it's going to take a long time. Do I specifically hunt them out? Yes and no. Like, I mean, I try to do as many of them as I can. If I see one that I'm like really close to, then yeah, I would take the time to do it. But I just imagine it'll get done over time. Most of these are stuff that if you play the game day in and day out, like I do, you just kind of fall on them. By the way, I just sent 200 letters that completed that Nook Mile achievement. Just today, I was just like I sent some letters to get rid of some junk to some villagers that I had doubles of. And I do that. And yep, I got the achievement, 3,000 Nook Miles. I've sent 200 letters throughout the life of the game. So,
yeah, the only one that seems like a big pain in the butt, and actually, hey, it's Chad, responded to John on Discord, and he goes, "I'd be lying if I said no. At this point, most things are completed in Nook Miles cards. I have my normal rounds that I finish and usually knock out the daily plus miles anyway. I don't think I'll ever get the last perfect angler stamp, which requires you to catch 100 fish without missing one. So you have to actually catch 100 fish in a row, and his high is 68. And I feel like that one is highly improbable to get by accident. Yeah. So that's when you got to really just bite the bullet and go catch 100 fish.
So it was earlier in the lifespan of Animal Crossing, the first, I don't know, month when it came out, when we were all still looking for cash. And it was raining on my island. The fish were biting very well, and I had CJ. And so I was hanging out, and I realized at some point that I was doing rather well, which is a bummer because I probably would have got it if I would have just not realized it. And so I looked at my thing, and I had 56 catches with no drops. And so I got to 87.
Oh my gosh.
And here's the kicker. It wasn't even that I threw it in, and I was way past the fish. And so I was like, oh, well, he's not going to get that because, I'm going to need to reset and try again.
Right.
Right as I yanked it out, he turned and targeted it, and then he ran away, and that's where I died. And I've never got that high again. Yeah, I was devastated, man. I'm not gonna lie. 87 catches in a row. That's as far as I've ever got. So
when are you ever gonna do that by accident again? Never.
Yeah, you're not. You're just gonna have to buckle down and just
Mhm.
And you can't like, you get in a groove kind of, you know, like you can't just like catch 40 and then take a break and come back and be like, oh, I'm going to catch the other 60 now the next day. You really do need to just kind of power through 100 fish, which takes a long time.
Yeah, you got to get in the zone.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and also too, we were talking about strategies on Discord, and we were talking about how like if you only go for small fish, it's way less likely for there to be like a rare fish that's hard to catch. Almost all the small fish are common to uncommon.
Yeah.
So that was one little tip if you wanted to spend all day catching only small fish on your island. Go for it.
Yeah, it's very true. Those big fish do that quick bite.
Yeah.
And those are just a pain in the butt. I end up missing those a lot, where it's just one quick bite and they're done.
So thanks, John, for the question, and thanks, Hey, it's Chad, for the interesting response. Our final Villagers Bulletin Board question tonight is from Tim Off again. He has a very interesting question that I want to chat about. He says, the other companies are doing it. Why not Nintendo? That is, do you think Nintendo could benefit from putting a game like Animal Crossing on PC and include cross-saving? That's never going to happen, A.
Yeah.
But let's answer the question. The question is, would Nintendo benefit from releasing some of its games on PC like Sony and Microsoft started to do?
Am I wrong in thinking that if you're a PC gamer, Animal Crossing is not, like, I don't know if this is true, so I'm just throwing it out there. Animal Crossing is not your gig. Like, I'm trying to think of a PC game like Animal Crossing. I guess you got Minecraft. So, which
Stardew Valley.
Okay, yeah, all right. So, yeah, okay, so, all right. So maybe, I mean, how many do you think they capture? How many people would buy Animal Crossing that don't have a Switch but would like to play Animal Crossing?
Well, if it had cross-save and you could access the same island on your PC as your Switch, I think more people than not would double dip if that was an option. To answer the bigger question of would Nintendo benefit from putting its games on PC, I think the answer to that is no.
Yeah.
Because part of what makes the Nintendo experience so special is that you can't play any of the top 10 games on the Switch anywhere but on a Switch. And so if you suddenly start dropping, even if you just drop Animal Crossing right now, suddenly you might get people who are going to start saying like, oh, maybe I don't have to buy a Switch to play Paper Mario anymore, because maybe they're going to start doing that. Maybe I don't have to buy a Switch to play Breath of the Wild 2. Maybe I don't have to buy a Switch to play Metroid Prime 4. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So like it's dangerous for them to even test the waters in that way, because people like there's, you know, if I'm just a PC gamer and I'm like interested in a Switch for Metroid Prime 4, and then that happens, then there's almost zero chance I'm buying a Switch because, well, I'm just going to wait to see if it comes out on PC now, you know, even if it's delayed by a couple months. And if they don't, you know, oh, well, there's other things to play. Whereas Nintendo kind of runs its own hype cycle almost totally independent of the other guys.
Yeah.
So that's my hot take. I don't think that's ever going to happen.
Yeah, I don't think it would either. Would you play? Would you play on a PC? I mean,
No.
Having a Switch, would you?
No way. It just like, why? Like, I don't know. It's, well, that's my problem, right? That's not that other people wouldn't. For me personally, playing on a PC is kind of a hassle because the only computers I have are in my office and in my garage. And I use my garage for streaming and stuff, but it's uncomfortable and hot or cold in here. And I use my office for work. So there's never like an opportunity to play a bunch of computer games. If I play games, it's on the go or at home on my Switch. That's like where I play games. But now that's me, you know what I mean? A PC gamer has their setup and might be interested, right? So I totally see that it would be beneficial to the consumer.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. If I'm at work, I mean, it's much harder when I'm holding the Switch to be like, "What are you doing?" And be like, "I'm working." But
yeah.
But if I'm not holding the Switch and I just have a mouse and I'm moving my guy around, might I go on to check turnip prices? Might I use it to go sell turnips? I probably would use it in that particular way.
Yeah.
So
be like a check-in. It wouldn't be like that's my main way to play.
No, yeah. It would be like I get on Discord, I'm at work, and I see on Discord somebody's got good turnip prices. Yeah, I may use the PC version to go get turnips if I'm at work, and that's a much easier way. I can do it so people won't see what's going on.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. The other thing is Nintendo, as open as the eShop is to letting just any kind of garbage shovelware on there, they are fairly walled garden as far as like modding goes.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
In order to mod something in or out of Animal Crossing, you have to go through some pretty drastic measures to get there. If you drop Animal Crossing on PC, then the floodgate's kind of open for that. So, and they don't want to ruin the online experience for anyone. So, which is a concern. So
now, what about if they did it on a tablet or a mobile, I guess, like an iOS or whatever you people call that? Strawberry jam, I don't know, preserves, whatever it is. I don't know.
It's desserts. It's pie, it's Oreo, it's not
I'm sorry, I can't keep up.
Strawberry jam. Man, on mobile, I mean, I don't know, dude. I mean,
okay, so let's back up. I understand they have Pocket Camp because somebody's going to be like, there's an Animal Crossing on mobile already. Yes, I know that.
There is?
I get
that.
Wow. But let's assume.
I'm selling my Switch tomorrow.
Yeah. I get that, but let's assume they allow you a more open version of Horizons on mobile. It sounds, I'm not going to lie, I can't even say it without like throwing up in my mouth a little bit, but let's say they do it. Would you play it?
I would play it, but the question is, would Nintendo benefit? And I think the long play is that they would not benefit at all.
Yeah, no, definitely not. There's no way.
So yeah, like in the short term, they'd probably sell some more games right now, but Nintendo doesn't play the short game. They play the long game. They never discount their games. They had this discussion on Dads After Dark and on Nintendo Dads. Nintendo does not discount their games. Breath of the Wild, 3.5 years in, is still $59.99 MSRP. Whereas, Spider-Man came out last year, is bargain bin now.
Mm-hmm.
So Nintendo plays by its own rules, and if they open up their games to other platforms, even PC, then they are now competing in a space that they don't have the culture to compete in, is my hot take.
Yeah, and I think that's true. And I mean, if you look at I don't know if Sony does this or not, quite frankly, but we know Microsoft does this with Game Pass and their PC version of Game Pass or whatever it is. I mean, that just there's two reasons that suits Microsoft. One, because a department of Microsoft's business is PCs, obviously,
Right.
So it just makes sense.
They have the number one operating system in the world, so they can do it.
Yeah, so
they can be exclusive to their operating system if they want to be. They don't have to release it on Mac or Linux or
Yeah. The other thing is, Xbox doesn't make money, and I don't believe. Okay, so let me back up. As I've heard it, I am not a connoisseur of the video game industry as others are, but as I've heard it, Microsoft doesn't make money on their consoles in general, whereas Nintendo does. So for Nintendo to push the Switch makes more sense than to put it on another version where they're not going to make any money other than the software sales that they get.
Right. Yeah, that's a financial strategy that both Sony and Microsoft have. And part of the reason they can do that is because Microsoft isn't just an Xbox company. Microsoft makes tons of other, other software and other things, computers or whatever. I don't know, whatever Microsoft does. And Sony makes other electronics and cameras and just sensors and lighting and TVs and just everything. So they're, the gaming aspect of what they do is but a fraction. So they can afford to take a hit on the console because they have an entire other company subsidizing what they do. Nintendo has to make money because that's literally the only revenue source they have.
Yeah, it also helps that Microsoft, not only are they PC, they're like they're the best positioned company, I think, for that, because not only are they PC and video game, but they're also services, right? Like
right.
I mean, I am all OneDrive. Like OneDrive is what runs what I do. So they're also based in all the cloud services as well to make that happen. So
yeah, definitely. So and they have xCloud coming out. They have Game Pass. They're kind of in their niche, right? Offering those services. And so Nintendo's niche really is based on their whole thing is they want to give you experiences that you can only get through them, right? So you have your Switch, you can only play like the top 10 games on the Switch are only available on Switch, and it's a unique experience because you have your motion control Joy-Cons and you can play on your TV and you can take it with you. That's a huge, huge selling point. They don't need PC. They're doing just fine.
And let's be honest, what would it look like if Nintendo tried to put their game on a PC on a technical sense? I mean, like I said, I don't even use voice chat from Nintendo because it doesn't always work that great. So instead, I usually just end up calling.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, would they even? Would it even be compatible with like 4K 60p if your system could handle it? Probably not.
No, probably not.
No, probably not. Probably still going to get the same 1080p stuff. So
if you're a PC gamer and you're like, hey, sorry, I just thought of this. Can you imagine introducing somebody who never really did a whole bunch with Nintendo systems, but they're like, Animal Crossing looks cool, I'll download it. And you're like, listen, you need a friend code to then go over, and then you need to like email that or somehow get that to another person, and they got to put theirs in too. And then, no, this works. Trust me. Just a little bit more. Everything's so seamless on the PC when it comes to that.
Right. And it's like, let's go visit. Can I come visit your island? Yeah, sure. Wait, why does it take 90 seconds for my airplane to fly over to you? And you can't do anything while I'm coming over. Yeah.
You're going to love this graphic, though, for 90 seconds. It's great. You're going to really think it's great.
Yeah. So I think that but Nintendo can get away with that because the only place you can play Animal Crossing, if you want to play Animal Crossing, you have to play their Animal Crossing on their system. And we all just buy in like happy little children.
Eat it up, man.
So we're going to jump into some spoiled turnips. So if this is where you don't want to hear potential spoiler rumors based on leaks or data mining or whatever, you can duck out right here. But we want to thank you for listening this far, and come on back and listen to the rest of the episode once you feel that the spoilerishness has left your system that you don't want to hear, and I will try to talk better in the future.
See you later.
See you later. Okay, now that they're gone, let's spoil some things. There has been a data mine of the summer update that happened about 4 days ago, but it's news to us, so we're still going to talk about it. Some more confirmation of possible Dream Suite functionality coming to Animal Crossing New Horizons because the name Luna has been added to a file. And the name Luna is very significant, Nick, because Luna is the anteater who, if I remember correctly, she allowed you to send messages back and forth using Dream Suite, within Dream Suite. So if she exists and her functionality retains, that means that Dream Suite is coming back. That's just further evidence that it's coming back. There was some more evidence in the last update. I don't remember what it was. So let's move on. The next data mine rumor that has been revealed is that Animal Crossing New Horizons island save data there's some specific verbiage on a message in the data mine that says something to the effect of, do you want to move this data? And so they're thinking that that's part of Nintendo getting ready, preparing their infrastructure for what will eventually be some kind of data transfer, save state help with Animal Crossing. Because as of right now, I believe the only way to transfer your island to another Switch is to do a complete system transfer. Is that correct?
I don't even know I don't know if that's a thing or not.
Because I know you can't do like the save transfer from system to system, and you cannot do cloud saves, obviously. I think the only way to do it is to transfer the entire Switch memory into another unit. And then you lose everything on that other Switch, which is highly inconvenient for someone who wants to save their island from a Switch that may have corrupt data or whatever. So hopefully that's a sign that things are moving along swiftly for them, and that we will have a solution for saving our data soon.
So do you think this is a transfer? Yeah, we have no idea. But
yeah, it says, do you want to move this data? Which to me sounds like, okay, the data is going somewhere, right? It's leaving my Switch, it's going somewhere. They have a lot of problems to solve with like the way that Animal Crossing saves its stuff, you know? So I think that they're going to allow you to move your island to another Switch, but that's going to remove it from the current Switch, and they're going to have to try to like work that out. I don't know that they're going to have like a cloud solution for that, because there's a lot of ways to like screw with that system.
It's so weird because, you know, the people are connected to the profiles. And so it's like, well, when you transfer, you're going to have to transfer all the profiles too.
But they can disconnect. Switch. They can disconnect that and say like, oh, like you want to move this island from this profile to this profile on this other Switch. Like, yeah, okay. You don't have access to your island anymore on this Switch. You got to go to the other Switch now. That seems plausible.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's so strange about how like with Noah and Ariel, my son and my daughter, on the same island. If we move Noah's island, but Ariel's profile's not on that other Switch.
Off-topic question: did you specifically name your kids after ocean-themed beings or characters?
Not Noah. I mean, obviously, we named him because it was a biblical name and we really liked it. Ariel is specifically named because my wife is a fanatic of Little Mermaid. No joke, totally true.
So the answer is yes. You named your son Noah after Noah from the Bible, who got eaten by a fish, and Ariel from The Little Mermaid, who is
too. Let's,
So the answer is yes. You named both your children after ocean-themed characters. Just want to get that out of the way. Back to save data. Go ahead.
Sure, glad we had a tangent there. So like if we move it, they're gonna have to move the profiles too, I guess is what I'm saying.
No, not necessarily. They can disconnect the profile from the island. Why not?
Then what happens to the one person's, like, okay, well, let's just use Noah and Ariel. If Noah's profile is on the other Switch, what happens to Ariel if she's not on that profile? What happens to her character? Does it just blow away? Because
I see what you're saying. Can you have your profile on more than one Switch at a time?
Yes, you can. Yeah, that's why I think they're going to have to copy it over. Okay. They're going to have to copy over the profiles and the save data to make that work.
Right. That makes sense. Okay. Yeah. I see what you're saying. So I guess we'll see. We'll see when they release it, what it is. Hopefully it is feature full and robust and easy.
Yeah, hopefully it's soon. I mean, I don't know what I would do if I lost it.
My Switch is going strong. I feel good about it, but especially people with Switch Lites who are having Joy-Con drift, it's like that whole unit's debunked now,
Yeah, that's tough, man.
So the last spoiled item on the data mine rumor, we have possibly more work on vegetables and farming. I'm really excited about farming, if that ends up being like a whole thing that you can do. Because that's one of my favorite parts of Stardew Valley, and it was always missing in Animal Crossing. It was always missing because you can do it in Harvest Moon, you can do it in other sim games, but our Animal Crossing was kind of just all about the social interaction. So if they're going to throw some farming at me, hopefully this autumn we can grow some pumpkins and stuff, you know?
See, you think this autumn. I really don't. I think it's going to be the end, the last update in the spring.
It's next year?
Yeah, I really do. I think this autumn is Brewster. I think this autumn is Brewster and the cafe and this extra
and pumpkin spice lattes and all that.
Yeah, I think that's this fall. And then the farming, if it's there, and I really kind of think it is, I think it's going to be that last free update in 2021 in the spring, because it just makes sense. You're in the spring. You can farm all spring, all summer long.
Okay,
that's my take, and I'm probably going to be totally wrong.
No, I guess we'll see, you know?
Yeah, right. I will say I'm warming up to it. I'm warming up to farming. When I first heard vegetables farming in my game, and don't get me wrong, I love Harvest Moon. I am going to download Story of Seasons, and I like Stardew Valley. Love all those things. But it just seemed like it wasn't.
I mean, you literally named like the 3 best farming games ever, and you're like, I don't know about farming.
It's just like one of those things you gotta wrap your head around, right? Because you're like, well, that's not Animal Crossing. There's no farming in Animal Crossing, and you have to.
Why not? Animal Crossing is just a life sim. You can farm if you want to.
I know, and like I said, I'm warming up to it. But it's it didn't come like it wasn't something that I was like, oh yeah, that should be in there initially. But as I think about it, if it's done right, I'm down for it. Either way, I'm playing it. If tomorrow they say, you can farm vegetables, I'm not going to be like, well, I'm not farming vegetables. I'm totally going to be there farming vegetables for sure.
Yeah, totally. They're going to give you some reward for it. You're going to get your wand, your vegetable wand or whatever.
Don't even say it.
Well, that's it. That's the episode, Nick.
That is.
Hopefully everyone's excited for the new direction we're steering this thing in. Still going to have plenty of Animal Crossing content as long as Nintendo has Animal Crossing content.
Hey.
And we're just going to throw in this whole dad angle, and I cannot wait to hear what Sean has to say about his kids next week when he tells us how wrong we were about their ages.
For sure. So, guys, we want to tell you that Dad Crossing is a part of the Nintendo Dads family of podcasts. You can find new Nintendo Dads content wherever podcasts are found. If you have questions or comments, you can reach out to us on Twitter, YouTube, and Instagram. Everything is at NDadCrossing. We want to give the Nintendo Dads a big thanks for making this craziness happen. As always, from the missing Sean Abbott, Dan Caparillo, and myself, Nick Metzger, we hope your village is sunny and your villagers are happy. See you later, folks.